On my little soapbox for a second.
It's Mark Sherwin's Contractor Marketing Soapbox.
Your guide to getting found, selected, and remembered.
And now, here's Mark.
Hey, soapboxers, welcome back. I got a really interesting, we'll call it a podcast, but it's literally me. I'm going to be kind of standing on a soapbox, kind of what I do here in the office. And my people all make fun of me when I do this and I get on some sort of rant. But I had some information was being shared by Greg Shattuck, one of my SEO guys, somebody I trust, and he was sharing some information with us, and that information was really important. And it struck a whole chord with me. We started really getting into it as far as going back and forth on, do we believe the stats, et cetera. And I thought there was no better way than to get this on film. And let's talk about this really interesting AI versus search traffic analysis. It is I'm going to have Ray go ahead and pull that up right now. This is a website we found. We're going to put that link down here on the bottom for it, but I'm going to go through it. I'm going to show you what I saw in it as some trends, some things that were very interesting to me as it even pertains to the home service industry and ultimately what we should be taking away from this information. So again, this is, if you're not familiar, Ahrefs, web analytics tools, these are very popular tools that are out there. They're the ones who built this information and put this all together, these traffic sources, etc. You can see the data analyzed about 6 months, 7 months. And it really allowed for us to see an overall what's happening in search. I cannot tell you how many times I get asked, Mark, I got to optimize for AI, and clients getting called, like, you got to optimize for AI, you got to optimize for AI. I'm going to show you exactly what that means today. All right, so we're going to have that conversation. Let's go down and let's just look at July. This is July's traffic comparison. If this is a very accurate look at things, and I want you to, there's a couple of things that just jumped right off the page at me on this one. 42%, I'm rounding, for traditional search engines on Google. Bing had 2%, DuckDuckGo down there less than 0.5%, 0.25%. Then I went over to the AI assistants, and I'm expecting big numbers here. I honestly was. I was expecting, we're going to be in the percentiles. We're not even past DuckDuckGo yet. And I'm going to guess some of you on this call haven't even heard of DuckDuckGo as a search engine. It's something I have on my phone. It's definitely helpful. It takes a lot of the tracking away. So people are using it for, when they don't want Google following them around. But again, it's not a well-known name, but ChatGPT is, Perplex, Copilot, Gemini. These are all things that I was shocked at how low the percentages were. So looking at this and understanding this dynamic, like, oh, hey, ChatGPT, they're growing at 5% growth. There's hundreds and hundreds of searches every month. And the question that I asked myself was this: are these people searching, or are they marketing companies and Ahrefs? Are they tools out there using this to see where they rank? Like, this has no way of deciding that. Are marketers just jumping on AI and using AI constantly and propping these numbers up? Are people actually using it to find legitimate sources of information, service providers, etc.? This actually gets into this even further. I'm going to scroll down. I want to show you some. I'm going to skip this one for now. You're welcome to go back to it on that link. But here was the month-to-month growth details that really struck me. Okay, this teaches us a lot when it comes to, hey, where's the growth? Where are we going to be going in the future? Okay, Google Google's fairly flat. We saw a spike here in January, December. Everybody here is probably very well aware that that is probably holiday driven, people shopping, etc. But as goes down, goes up, goes down, 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 up, we're still in the 40%, 42% of all searches being conducted on Google. Chat GPT, look at the growth in that. But again, only accounting for 0.19% of all the searches, but seeing steady growth. This tells you the content, the what's coming back from ChatGPT is good. People are still using it. They're not upset by it. So legitimate searchers coming in, they're seeing good quality results coming back, hence increase in the likelihood they will use it again. It's exactly what Google wants, right? When you optimize for Google, you are optimizing for success. Google wants to show the best sites, because then you'll come back and use Google again. And what is Google hoping for? Yeah, you click on an ad or 2 or 3 or 5, right? That's what they want, because that's where they make their money. ChatGPT is no different. They want consistency in their search results so people come back and use them. With that in mind, look, Bing is all over the place, right? DuckDuckGo, even bigger swings. And considering I do use DuckDuckGo, I have it on my phone and I do some searches, just looking in the industry, the results aren't as good as I get with Google. They're not as local. They're not as prevalent. They're easily manipulated in DuckDuckGo, and that's very evident in how the search results are showing. Then there's something called Claude. Awesome. I've used it a couple of times. It is not a as well known a name as ChatGPT or even Gemini or Copilot, but Claude's right up there. That is something to consider. That is something to go and look at. And look, people are starting to use it pretty aggressively. But again, you're talking in the tenths of a percent of all searches being conducted right there now. Even if I total up all of maybe I'll scroll back up to the top. Even if I total up all the top AI assistants, doesn't equal a percent yet. So when I scroll back down, Claude is something that I'm paying attention to. Perplexity, Copilot saw this 9,000% jump. Pretty sure they had a big marketing campaign, use Copilot, and they pushed out there. Yep, people started using it, and it's leveled off right then. There's a time and a place for these AI assistants. That's what we're showing here. Gemini, pretty consistent growth. And Mistral, we had a big bunch of people jump in. They probably had a marketing campaign, and then people just started falling off. What do we want to learn from this? AI search is here. It's to stay, but it is not a traffic source just yet. And we're going to get into what that future might look like. And that data is down below here a little bit. This traffic comparison, right? Because Google skews this so bad, they actually came down and they said, okay, here it is without Google. What are we looking at here? Bing, DuckDuckGo, right? We're watching DuckDuckGo starting to dive off a little bit. At the ChatGPT is starting to take some of that away. So there's a faction of searchers out there, myself, others, just don't want to be tracked. And so we're using other means to get accurate results, and we're looking for quality at the same time. So that's where I think you're going to see some traffic. Everybody's going to be fighting over scraps at the bottom. But are they? Again, we're going to get into that here in a moment, because there's some very interesting information in here. Since most of my viewers here are going to be North America, we're going to stop here just real quick. Those numbers up above, 42% of searches, that was worldwide. North America is 34%. Anybody else kind of shocked by that? I am. ChatGPT, 0.18, like we're right there in the right there where ChatGPT is 0.19%. We're right there. And then there's Perplexity, Copilot, Gemini. What jumped off a page for anybody else watching this? And that's what jumped off the page to me. 62.1% others. What does others mean? Where are people starting their search? To you, to anybody watching this, this is what the marketing community has been jumping up and down, screaming at the top of our lungs, stop concentrating and thinking Google, oh, if I rank number one on Google, I'm going to be rich. The phone's going to ring off the hook. Not necessarily. There's only 34% of all traffic's going through Google right now in North America. In your area of the country, it might be different. It might be a little higher. This doesn't break it down by region or DMA or north south. It just says North America. What does that 62% mean? On the West Coast, it might mean Yelp is a big player. On the East Coast, it might mean Better Business Bureau, right? Social media is another big place. We have a lot of people starting searches on YouTube now. How many people go to their own Facebook and either your personal account and you see your friends asking for, hey, who do you recommend for painting or AC repair, anything like that, right? People are starting their search elsewhere. And that is what us as marketers are trying to ascertain. Your area of the country is it can be different. Atlanta, you might have more Google searches and there's going to be a lot of people on social media searching, right? Next door. Like there's so many places that can go. But then I go out to California and Yelp is a big one. Nobody's ever heard of Nextdoor out there. No, they have, but you get my point. It's the lower percentage. There's so many different places. So when your marketing company is talking to you about, hey, we need video. Hey, we need photos. Hey, we need interaction, community involvement. These things all stack on top of one another. That's what we are looking for. You need to be in multiple places, whether through paid or natural search. And this is the prelude. Let's talk about a little bit, okay? I'm going to skip over some of these regional growths that just looks like mountaintops to me. I'm going to come down here to, should have had this set up, apologize. Home and garden, okay? Home and garden is where most of the home services industries, who we concentrate on here at Leads Nearby, that's what we're looking at, okay? So 42% of Google searches home and garden, Bing, DuckDuckGo, ChatGPT, and nobody else really registers. So my home service clients, is ChatGPT where we need to be? How do we get there? Is it going to continue to grow? Yeah, statistics show that it's going to continue to grow. How do we influence our position on there? And that, my friends, and my clients all know this. I have props. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. My clients all know this. My people all know this. If you are not reading this book, please do so. They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. You want to be found in AI? You need to be the thought leader. You, as the business owner, are probably looking at ChatGPT and other AIs and going, oh, they can write all my content for me. ChatGPT is only as smart as the information that it finds. It basically just summarizes what it knows and finds online. You want to be the teacher. Think about that, right? If you're out there providing information to your area and you're within your expertise, that is the crux. That is the catalyst that will get you to being shown in AI search results to give you the opportunity for click-throughs, for traffic. What does that also do? Google now sees you as an authority. You have authoritative content. People might reference that content from your website, from their website to yours. Backlink. This content goes into your website in a manner of blog posts, frequently asked questions, properly coded in there using schema, you got yourself a winner using that method. You show up in the frequently asked questions a lot, et cetera, so forth. So anybody listening to this, AI is here to stay, but you need to be the teacher. Don't sit there and use AI to build blog posts and images. You're just noise at that point. There's no reason for Google to say, oh yeah, they're an authority. There's nothing authoritative about what you just wrote. There's also, and this is extraordinarily important to understand, and we're going to get into this here in a moment. I got another page I want to show you, but AI is not perfect either. It's like people think of AI as this, oh yeah, they're ideal. They know exactly everything. Nope, it is just an algorithm, only as smart as what we're telling it and the prompts that we're giving it. You need to be the prompt. You need to be the resource that these AI assistants are using to showcase results. Let me show you another example. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this one, and then I'm going to share another, and Ray's in the background, and he's going to help me figure this one out. All right. Ray, go ahead and pop that in. Okay, so very simple search result. Best AC repair company, Raleigh, North Carolina. Yeah, hometown, Raleigh, North Carolina. Not my hometown, that's where I live, excuse me. You guys know this search result as well as anybody. There's your sponsor, there's your Google sponsored results up at the top. Generally going to be your Google local service ads, etc. So there you go. And right below it, we have an AI overview. Blanton's, Carolina Comfort Air, they're not listed down here. Just because they're paying Google doesn't mean they're going to get into the AI overview. What I'm suggesting, and I want you guys to look at as you go down through here, you're going to notice something very interesting. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina. How do we find the best fit? Yelp, Angie's List, your reviews. So when people start going in and best of, top ranked, top rated, etc., Google in their AI overview, they're using cues from Yelp, Angie's List, Google Business Profile. Who's got the best reviews? That's what they're using. You get a bunch of negative, even recent negative, that's going to knock you down a peg. You're going to get shoved out of here. But the one I wanted to show you is this, and it was very interesting to me. And proof that AI has some room to grow and get better. They pulled in a Charleston, South Carolina result on me. High five to them, I guess, but we're in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's a good distance away, and nobody's doing that kind of trip charge. So while great information, very helpful, there's room to grow. We're going to get better at this, and AI is going to get better. Look, I got a Florida company showing up in here. So I want you guys and everybody to understand, this is not, AI is here to stay, but it's not perfect. If you are out there optimizing your content for your area of the world, for what you do for a living, concentrate on the questions that you're being asked every single day. Get your technicians in the field to write down the questions they hear from homeowners. No question is too small or too simple. CSRs, same thing. Start answering questions on your website through means of blog, FAQ, etc. Use your website as a resource. You need to be the quintessential expert in your area and on what you do for a living. You will start showing up in here. That I can virtually guarantee, because that's exactly what Google is looking for. So everybody here, start doing some searches on your own. Look around your area. what kind of results are you getting in your area? Are you seeing Google overview, AI overview? Do a search on ChatGPT. See what the results show there, and how can you influence it? Now, there is a lot of chatter out there about AI, etc. What I want you to understand is that there's a couple of resources out there. If you have questions on content that maybe your marketing company wrote for you, maybe you hired somebody to do content for you on your website, and this is really important. Do a search on Google and find AI content checker. I think Quillbot's got one. A couple other people have one. They're all free, and you just type in the content that was written for you. It will tell you if it was AI driven, made completely 100%, AI derivative. There is an absolute, if you think Google's not doing this to the content that it's seeing as part of its algorithm, you're in for a rude awakening. Google, all these other search engines want unique information, good information, not recaps of what it already knows. Be the leader, be the thought leader. Don't be afraid to talk about price on your website. Don't be afraid to talk about competitors on your website. That book, They Ask You Answer, we'll talk about that. How to properly not be afraid to talk about your competitors or talk about services in your area. Why? We just had a conversation yesterday with a client, and they didn't want to talk about price on their website. But as soon as I pointed out that their competitor was showing a price on their website, I think it was a $65 drain cleaning, an instant reaction was, oh yeah, well, they're using this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, that's the information that people want. That is information that they need, because as soon as that company walks in for $65, they're going to upcharge, because we all know that that's the, kind of get in the home price. They're going to upcharge because what they actually need is what, $225, or it's going to be more money. Talk about the services. You don't have to talk about price. Talk about your value. But answer questions. Why did my toilet back up? Your kid flushed his underpants down. Yep, guilty as charged. These are the things for anybody watching this. We talk about it a lot with our own clients here at Leads Nearby, but talk about it with your marketing firm. If they can't talk about it, find somebody that will talk to you about it, and put it onto your website properly, and get noticed out there. Be the leader or be the follower. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I'm wondering if there's any questions in the background. Ray's usually back there kind of fielding some questions, but you know what? I got a question from one of my people. He jumped in on my, and he's absolutely right. I kind of glossed over it a little bit. We talked about Yelp. We talked about Google. Where are people doing searches? Talked about Yelp. Talked about Google Business Profile, of course. We talked about Better Business Bureau, social media, Reddit. Great place to be. If you want to educate and help people understand your industry, great place for you to be. TikTok, great place for you to be. Yes. Is it a younger crowd? Yeah. Yep. But people are on there. I'm in my 50s. My wife's in her 50s. She has a TikTok account. I don't. But she has a TikTok account. She's looking at things, in looking up things for the home, right? Hey, how do we do that? How do we organize this? Pinterest, another place she looks at, and she looks for ideas on how to organize the home, or what the paint colors. Like, people look at these different places, and you can't ignore them anymore. It is it is, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years, right? The market has just shifted, and people are looking for different ways to find people that they can trust. And that's the bottom line. Trust. Who can I trust to come into my home? Think about it from your customer's perspective. I'll give you mine. I hired a fence company. Came out to my house, nicest guy in the world, said he's going to put up a fence for me for X amount of dollars, needed a deposit. He was gone. Where did he come from? He came from a referral. My point to you guys is this. There is so many horror stories in your industry, in the home service industry, people taking money, people not showing up, people not answering the phone. Like one of my colleagues, she will tell you the story. She lived in a little rural part of New York for a little while, and she would call 10 plumbers, 10 roofers, I think it was. Yeah, it was 10 roofers. She called 10 roofers and got one call back. Nobody answered their phone. What are we doing here, guys? Right? Be the thought leader. You want to be that next company. You want to grow into that next company. Embrace what's around you today. And no, that doesn't mean dumping as much money as you can into Google. Yes, that will keep you busy. Yes, there's people doing, 34 or 42% are doing their searches, starting their searches there. But that's so many more people doing their search somewhere else. Let's go and attack that too. Diversify. Any other questions, Ray? I'm going to take his silence as no. I hope you took something away from this, Soapboxers. I definitely appreciate you coming by today. Let me know if there's any questions on it. Marketleadsnearby.com. Happy to answer anything for you, maybe give you some insight. But I appreciate you all. Be safe out there. Have a wonderful weekend.
It's Mark Sherwin's Contractor Marketing Soapbox. Call Mark to learn more. 919-758-8420.